My name is Nathan Herbst. I'm a senior cross-country track runner at the one and only Wapamani High School. And I am an alien. One of the main reasons I'm on the stage tonight is because of the effect other more experienced believers than I have had on my life. I've been very fortunate to have other mentors to build me up in the faith and cause me to grow into the man of God that I am today. How many of you have similar Christians in your own life? Yeah, it's kind of an essential part of spiritual growth, right? And so I want to ask you a question about them. What makes these believers who they are? What kind of causes them to be the Christians that they are and their faith in life? Just think one or two things in your head real quick. One of the main things that popped into my head was how they're apart. They're different. They're set apart from everyone else. They're almost alien-like in the way that they live out the gospel and everything that they do like that. And one of the main biblical stories that popped into my head when I thought of this was the man Job. Now, Job was a man completely committed to God. I mean, I know some good believers, don't get me wrong, in my life, but I don't think they had anything on Job. Because God, he bragged about him to his entire heavenly court. He says in Job 1:8, "Then the Lord asks Satan, 'Have you noticed my servant Job? He's the finest man in all the earth. He's blameless, a man of complete integrity. He fears God and stays away from evil.'" And so Job lived differently because he loved God. He didn't allow the world to corrupt him in his thinking, and instead he remained pure because of his devotion to God. And as a result of this, God blessed him abundantly. He was one of the richest men of his area, and he was fruitful and prosperous in everything that he did. And so things were going great for Job. He had a big house, lots of money, anything that he could want. That is, until Satan got involved. Satan says in verses 9 and 11, "Yes, but Job has good reason to fear God. You have always put a wall of protection around him and his home and his property. You've made him prosper in everything he does. Look how rich he is. But reach out and take away everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face." And so the Lord, not to be outdone, he said to Satan, "You know what? My servant Job, he's so devoted to me. He loves me so much. His commitment is so deep that no matter what you put him through, in the end, he'll be on my side and not on your side." And so Satan did what he does best. He caused great suffering and calamity to fall upon him. He lost everything he held dear, and he was taken from the very top to the very bottom. He was so miserable and alone and dejected that he wished he wasn't even born at all. How many of us find ourselves in similar places in our own lives? When the world just beats down on us, breaks us down, we get knocked off the path that God has for us. It's so hard to get back on. I know it's happened many times before in my own life. One particular time being on the cross-country course. You see, the Lord has made me very fortunate to have the talent to win many races, but in order to win races, you need to know the course. If you don't know the course, you're not going to win it, obviously. And so at this one particular meet last year, I did not know the course. And so I started off fairly well, but as if you don't know the course, things don't go well for long. And so at about the 1.5 mile mark, I completely blew past my turn, ran 200 meters past it. Then all of a sudden, I hear my friend screaming at me. He's like, Nathan, you're going the wrong way, you gotta turn around." And so all of a sudden, it dawned on me that I'm on the wrong path. If I keep going this way, I'm gonna get disqualified from the race. But if I turn around, well, things won't be very good either, because I was already 200 meters past, people would pass me, but that's besides the point. And so I would love to say that as Christians, we'll never have to deal with these problems that'll knock us off course. That once we accept the love of God into our life, we won't have to deal with all these issues and things that knock us away from Him. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Because Jesus himself tells us in John 15:18 and 19, "If the world hates you, remember that it hated me first. The world would love you as one of its own if you belong to it, but you are no longer part of the world. I chose you to come out of the world, and so it hates you." And so when we deal with this suffering, we can take it as assurance that we're following God the way He intends us to. If we don't experience the suffering, it may be that we're not following God, we're not being set apart, we're not living differently enough from the others around us. But what are we to do when we experience the suffering in our lives? Well, fortunately, Jesus goes on to say in John 16:33, "I have told you all this so that in me you may have peace. Here on earth you have many trials and sorrows, but take heart, because I have overcome the world." Now Job, he had this attitude. He knew that God would eventually come through him, that if he persisted in his belief in God, He would eventually raise him up from where he was back to the very top. And we see in the very end of the book of Job that he did. God did come through for him. He gave him his wealth back, his family, all of his possessions, and he rose him back from the very bottom to the very top once again. And because of his faith in God, that allowed him to do this. And it kind of brings to mind what the Apostle Paul wrote in 2 Timothy 4:7. "I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, and I have remained faithful." Now Job, he fought the good fight. Job finished the race, and Job remained faithful. And so wherever you are tonight, I want to challenge you to stay the course. Maybe you're facing your battles even as I speak. You're where the world is speeding down on you, trying to drag you from the path that God has set before you. Or maybe you've been fortunate to not have to deal with many struggles yet in your life. And perhaps God is preparing you to face these battles in the future. Or maybe you already have faced these trials in your life. Maybe you, like Job, have been restored from them. And you've managed to get back on the path that God has and emerge worn out but worthy and restored for Him. And so wherever you are tonight, I want to challenge you to stay on the course that God has set for you. Fight the good fight, just like Job did. Remain faithful as an alien, set apart, living differently from the rest of the world. Because Satan, he's still out there. He's going to do everything in his power to tear us apart from the love of God that is revealed in Jesus Christ our Lord. But God, His promise is still out there too. And it's 1,000 times stronger than anything Satan can throw at us. He's going to love us no matter what we do, no matter who we've been with, no matter where we've been, no matter what we've done. He's just waiting for us to realize He's already overcome the world. He's just waiting for us to look to Him so we can finish the race and remain faithful in all of His promises for us.